Welcome back to Blood Feather Productions, and today we got another video for you guys, and I bet you're wondering where I've been at. I've just been doing my day job. YouTube don't pay the bills, so I had to get a day job to pay them bitches. You know how it be. But I know you saw the title of the video, and I know you want to hear what I have to say. I know some people probably want to know what I think about this She-Hulk show, as you're from the title. Is She-Hulk the worst MCU show? And now some of you may be seeing the date that when this came out and thinking, well, She-Hulk isn't over yet, so how could you determine whether or not it's the worst show without all the episodes being out? Now, what I call you is a smart person, because there's been plenty of discourse online saying that She-Hulk is the worst MCU show. But honestly, they say that about everything. Before it was She-Hulk, it was Miss Marvel. Before Miss Marvel, it was Moon Knight. Before Moon Knight, it was Hawkeye, and on and on and on. And let me just start this off, get it out the way before there's even a minute into the video. Before I'd say it though, like, comment, subscribe. It's not. It's not the worst MCU show. I'm gonna tell you why. It can't be, because Iron Fist is the worst fucking MCU show. Okay, I would watch anything before I watch Iron Fist. If you are trying to say She-Hulk is the worst, you're just using hyperbole. Because let's be honest, Iron Fist, both seasons were terrible. He did nothing in the Defenders, one of the weakest parts of it. Every other show was categorically better. Even Punisher, he didn't even get to be in the Defenders. And I mean, at the end of the day, he's trash. He's trash. He's more trash than Black Bolt. If we keep it a buck, he's more trash than Black Bolt. And at the end of the day, I don't understand why, everyone has to use this hyperbole. Look, I get it. You wanna make headlines. You wanna create this discourse. And there is a larger conversation to be had about She-Hulk and the She-Hulk show, which I do plan to make a video about once it's all said and done. As I've said before, I'm really not one of the content creators that gets on that, every day, every piece of news, every week kind of video. That's just not how I am. I make videos about the things that I am personally interested in. And I am personally interested in She-Hulk. I watched the show. I've seen all 4 episodes. I enjoy the show. Is it the best show ever? No. Is it the worst show ever? No. I like it more than Hawkeye, to be honest with you. I was talking to a friend of mine, and I said I liked it more than Moon Knight. I think I want to retract that, actually, that maybe it's not as much as Moon Knight, but I also kind of compared it to apples and oranges. But there are a couple things that I want to address in this video that people are talking about She-Hulk, and like I said, I will be making a longer video about the entire show once it's done. But just to hop into those first couple things, I watched every episode week to week. I watch every episode week to week because it's not, like I said, it's not done. But, that first episode really came out swinging, a lot of Hulk. And then they had the infamous feminist scene that everyone got mad at. And, when I watched it, I didn't really think anything of it. And I want to say this. When I look at the She-Hulk show, I look at it as very much as a show like New Girl, And some of you are probably surprised that I watch New Girl. Yes, I did watch New Girl because it was a pretty damned funny show. And I'll also like to say, this is a little bit not off topic, definitely still on topic, but, I feel like when a lot of comedians were getting canceled, like a Chris Rock or a Bill Maher, I think, yeah, or whatever his name is, I felt a lot of people saying, oh, well, comedy is subjective. Comedy is subjective. So, who are you to dictate what's funny and isn't funny? But I love to see how with the She-Hulk discourse, now it's like, well, it's not funny categorically. I and my echo chamber, because they love saying lefts are an echo chamber. Now it's like they're in the echo chamber. In your echo chamber, yes, you and everyone else don't think that shit's funny. But when I talk to, real people in the real world, not on my online echo chamber, I talk to a lot of people in the real world that say they enjoy watching She-Hulk. They find it mildly funny. I find it mildly funny. And a lot of people complain about all the jokes, but it's a comedy. When I watched Thor 4, I was annoyed with how much comedy there was because it didn't fit the tone. The She-Hulk's tone is comedy, is not taking itself too seriously, which She-Hulk has always been. And let's keep it a stack. These niggas aren't She-Hulk fans, okay? The She-Hulk show clearly has a more feminine slant to appeal to a feminine audience. If you're a male, especially a fucking comic book dude, bro, I'm not surprised you don't like She-Hulk. And then you want to talk about how you like She-Hulk in the comics. She-Hulk was a background character used for sex appeal that just was a supportive character to other people. Her comics did not ever sell that well. She never could hold a comic run for that long. I mean, yes, she did have them, like all characters have had them. But at the end of the day, let's keep it real. She has not always been a popular character. She has been used to introduce other characters, to support other characters, and mainly used as a sex object. But that's not who She-Hulk is in today's climate, even in comics, so that's not going to be reflected on the MCU show. And now we'll get into some spoiler territory for, I think, the third episode. So again, spoilers if you don't want to hear about this, and just want to watch the show and then wait for my full review, click off here. But the whole Megan Thee Stallion episode was, to me, clearly, a way to get at people. And here's what I mean when I say that. That's the same episode that they had the joke about incels online, which was very true. That's what was actually happening. And then, there was the whole Megan Thee Stallion twerk scene at the end, and just overall her kind of cameos through the episode. And I don't really think there's anything wrong with that. I watched the Angry Joe review, and it was very funny to me because it was like Angry Joe had no idea who the fuck Megan Thee Stallion was, so he didn't even really get why she was a prominent person in the show. But if there was a way to not to weaponize, but to represent the sexual power of She-Hulk, it would be someone like Megan Thee Stallion, a pretty much very big pop culture icon for women when it comes to sex appeal. And I'm not going to say this is all people, because contrary to that, I would say I saw a lot of people who categorically didn't like She-Hulk say they did like episode 3, or they did find the twerking scene funny, and there's other people who are being prudes about it. But at the end of the day, that is what you get. You know what I'm saying? Like, you bring on Megan Thee Stallion, she is gonna twerk. I don't know what anyone else expected that. Like, if you didn't expect her to be twerking at some point during the show, you just don't really know who Megan Thee Stallion is. That's like her brand, damn near. That's like her fucking brand. And when I saw her in the She-Hulk show, I thought it was interesting. I mean, I'm not the biggest Megan Thee Stallion fan. She do got a nice ass, though. Can't lie about that. But, I heard some of her songs, and some of them are cool, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not the biggest Megan Thee Stallion fan. It didn't take away from the episode that it was in it. And at the end of the day, it's a comedy show. They're gonna have plot points like a fucking shape-shifting Asgardian that runs around fucking impersonating Megan Thee Stallion to scam people. Like, that is, when I look at She-Hulk, it's really bringing a more grounded reality to the Marvel Cinematic Universe that's just not there with something like Hawkeye. Like, yes, Hawkeye was a grounded show, as was Miss Marvel, but there's still this air of like, well, Hawkeye's still an Avenger, and there's still this Avengers things, and Miss Marvel has still got powers, so her powers are very like a big part of the show. And at the end of the day, with She-Hulk, yes, she's a Hulk in the gamma radiation and everything, but she's one of really the first heroes that we see who doesn't want to be a hero. And I like that. I like that there's this comedy slant with someone who doesn't want to be a hero. And I think it works. And I think it's gonna work. And I really hope that Marvel does not take these fucking like troll fanboys who don't even actually like She-Hulk. They're not like they were fucking staunch She-Hulk readers, and if they were, they read maybe like 3 of her comics because they wanted to fuck her, and then that was it. And now they're fucking running around like, well, this show could have been so great. By so great, you mean you just wanted to see She-Hulk naked all the time. And because it's not what you're getting, you're just saying it's bad. And that's really dumb. All the scenes about men and feminism, that's what's going to happen when you have female writers that want to tell a specific story in a specific way. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You cannot like it. That's fine. Then stop watching. What I can't get over is the constant discourse of people continuously saying the MCU's on life support. The MCU is horrible. The MCU hasn't been good since Endgame. Well, bitch, we're like 4 movies and like 5 shows in. Stop watching. Get off the wagon. If you haven't liked Far From Home, No Way Home, Doctor Strange, Black Widow, Shang-Chi. I mean, if you don't like Eternals, that's fine. Eternals was ass anyway. You didn't like Thor. Thor was not really that good either. But if you don't like all those movies and you haven't liked WandaVision, you haven't liked Loki, and you haven't liked fucking, Falcon and Winter Soldier and all those shows, why are you still watching? Why are you still watching every episode and tuning in every week to every show or going to the theater for every movie just to fucking comment under somebody's post, MCU is mid now? So you can say that like your opinion matters. If you really didn't like it that much, you wouldn't watch it. Prime example, I'm not really into Game of Thrones. I watched the first episode of Game of Thrones, saw that like brother and sister fucking, and then like I watched them push the nigga out a child out the window. I said, Not for me. And I stopped watching it. I'm not going to watch House of Dragons. Well, okay, I'm going to say I may watch House of Dragons because I have even people who were like me who didn't watch Game of Thrones are watching it and saying, oh, it's actually pretty good. And because I like Matt Smith. But at the end of the day, when I came out, I wasn't excited. I didn't care. I didn't go around saying, I think fucking Game of Thrones is so trash for all its weirdo banging, like children banging writing, which in the books they age them up for the show, but in the books they're a lot more children and a lot more child sex, which just to me is weird, so I never got into it. But I'm not running around with my fucking picket fence about how bad Game of Thrones is. I just don't watch this shit. If you really think the MCU is so bad and so horrible, just stop watching. And yet people make these videos and they do all this extra shit. When She-Hulk episode 1 came out, I was surprised. I was surprised at the amount of hate it got. And I shouldn't have been. But even to go along with that, Angry Joe, a person that has been categorically not a fan of all these Marvel shows, critiqued them a lot, which is fine. But he liked the first episode of She-Hulk. And what happened? People called him a fucking sellout. People said that he was on fucking Disney's payroll. And to me, that's where the discourse clearly gets ridiculous. You're no longer fighting or like arguing any real point. You're just arguing because there's shit that you don't like on the screen. Well, if there's shit that you don't like, bro, stop watching. If you want to see a female but you don't want feminist writing, well, you got like 3 different shows. You got Rings of Power, She-Hulk, and you got fucking I'm pretty sure House of Dragons has a female lead. I don't know. I'm not watching it. Correct me in the comments if I'm not. You know what I'm saying? But I did see some comparison between Rings of Power and what is it? Fucking, I just had House of Dragons. I've seen some comparison between their female leads. Fine, then go do that. You have other options. But the constant ramping against She-Hulk every single week, it makes y'all niggas look lame. And the fact that the show even had the foresight to even put that in the show when it was coming out weekly. Who even knows how long ago She-Hulk was fucking filmed, especially with all the pushbacks after COVID. It's clear, like, you know what I'm saying? I understand. I come from a time where it's like, you know, when things are not good, we say that. But that's just not something that I see. You know what I'm saying? I thought Doctor Strange was pretty good. You know what I'm saying? I thought No Way Home was amazing, so much that I actually saw the re-release recently. That's how much I like that movie. But yes, Eternals was a shitty movie. Thor was not as good as Thor 3. Still better than Thor 2, but it's around that Thor 1 level. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are the things. To me, that's critiquing it. People keep talking about these critiques, but at a certain point, it's just hating. When you're making a 40-minute video about a 20-minute show, i.e. making a 40-minute video about She-Hulk when the show's only 20 minutes, and all you're doing is hating, and you're on the 4th episode still hating on the things that you hated from the 1st episode, nigga, I'm looking at you like, why are you watching? Why are you still giving your energy to this? How about you go make content on something you enjoy, actually? But no, it's all about the headlines and the hate, and I think that's fucking corny. I just really think that shit's corny, and I think that shit's lame. And, you know, that's really all I have to say about the matter right now. Like I said, anything else, I'm just going to be going into it in my full video. I just wanted to kind of, you know, it's kind of a clickbait title, but not really. I just wanted to get some general thoughts about She-Hulk, about the direction the show has gone, and I think the show will be decent. I'm not going to say it's going to be the best MCU show. That's reserved for things like Loki and WandaVision, but I think it'll be middle of the road like the rest of them. And let's stop this narrative that it's the worst MCU show, because it's not. Again, it's fucking Iron Fist, because that show is garbage, and it's so garbage everyone wants to fucking forget about it. But I'm not going to let y'all forget about it. It was a garbage show, even when Netflix had a big-ass budget with a great fight choreography, great effects, because we all saw Jessica Jones, we all saw Daredevil, and yet we still got something like Iron Fist, which was trash. So that's actually the worst MCU show. So let's stop this narrative that it's She-Hulk. Does She-Hulk have things it needs to work on? Sure. It's not the best show ever. It's got some things it needs to work on. The writing could be punched up a little bit, but at the end of the day, bro, you're not a writer. You are just some fanboy who sits at home judging everything. So at the end of the day, you know, it's like, I understand what it's like to be a creative and want to tell a certain story from a certain person's point of view. And I'm sorry that for females, that sometimes includes not even shitting on men, telling about the reality of men. I see a lot of guys talking about how they don't like her little like rival character. A, that's someone that is from the comics and does act like that. And B, if you've never met some self-important douchebag, maybe you just don't have enough life experience, because I've definitely met a couple, and they kind of really do act like that. They're self-important, they're dumb, and they think they're the shit. Oh man, that kind of explains some of the people that I'm talking about in this video. Crazy. And with that being said, y'all, I'm going to catch y'all in the next video. Peace.